Hi everyone, this is Chris. I'm live at Anime Detour for the first time in a really long time, and I'm here with a legendary name in anime, Tony Oliver.
Hey guys.
So the first thing I wanted to ask was, do you remember how you got into SAG?
Oh, I got into SAG?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was cast to do a replacement voice for Corey Haim. Yeah, who had said an F-bomb, and they needed for me to change it to something benign for regular TV. And I had already done one SAG thing before, so it was called Taft-Hartley, but I had to join for the next job. So I went and did the job and immediately drove to SAG and joined there before the paperwork got there so that I could do the job. So that's how I joined. I was to do a one-line part. That's got me to do it.
Well, it was really cool because in your panel earlier you were talking about auditioning for like The Outsiders and really iconic TV shows, so that was obviously way before.
Yeah, I was in Taft-Hartley mode, which means I could audition, but then I would have to join if they hired me. That was the deal.
Yeah.
But by having the Taft-Hartley, it allowed me to audition for things because I was SAG eligible, what it used to be called. So.
And I know, of course, that you got into anime right when it was just becoming a thing in the U.S.
Yeah, anime had actually been around since the '60s, but nobody knew what it was.
Right.
So yeah, with Robotech, it was the first one that got wide release and actually got some ratings, so that people actually saw it. And so yeah, I got back in. They were still calling it Japanimation back then. It was fun. I didn't have a lot of competition. Not a lot of people did this. Maybe 20 people in all of LA were doing this at the time. So now there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
When I did talk to Wendy Lee, before I talked to her, there wasn't a lot of information about Lisa Michelson.
Yeah.
Were you very close with her?
We were really close friends, actually. I got the phone call to alert our friends group, so I was the first guy to call. She was wonderful. She had a Linda Ronstadt kind of voice. We did some singing together occasionally. We did a bunch of shows together. And her husband was Greg Snegoff, who was the guy who taught me how to dub. And who directed me in Robotech, the first stuff. So it was an interesting kind of. They were together a year before I ever knew they were together, so that was kind of funny. I couldn't see them. So it was a tragedy when she passed. She was in the middle of doing a show at the time, so at Saban where I worked. So we had to scramble to find a replacement. It affected a lot of people down the line, especially our friend group. We were really tight. We'd had a theater company together, so we'd done show after show after show, all in the same cast, and you get very tight when you do it.
Well, it's really cool that all you same core group of people are still working anime today for the most part.
Yeah, a lot of us are. Yeah, some of us aren't with us anymore. but yeah, I'm working with people I met 30 years ago.
So in terms of your bigger, most well-known characters, who do you think that you relate the most to?
Who do I relate the most to? I know it's kind of weird, but Minato from Naruto, because of the dad aspect of it. I'm a dad. That was a big part of my identity is that being a dad. And the relationship with Naruto really struck me. It's made the scenes more emotional, which I think made them better.
Well, the first time for me, I think the first major character I heard you in was X.
I don't, honestly, I don't remember that one that much, except for the fact that it took me like 25 takes to be able to say my character's name. I couldn't get the Arasakawa. I couldn't get that sub-vocalized I, and the director really wanted it exactly the way that it was proper Japanese.
Was there more of a story with Vandread?
Well, yeah, Vandread. Yeah, what's notable about Vandread for me is that we were recording it on 9/11.
Oh, wow.
So, and that morning I'm in LA, so we're not getting attacked there. So I got no phone call, so I went into work. And that morning we would record for 15 or 20 minutes and then run out to watch the TV to see if anything else had happened. But the scene I was recording was of Hibiki walking through a city that had just been razed to the ground and smolders. And it was really tough to play that scene with that going on outside. It's rare that outside the booth affects what's going inside the booth, but that day it was,
What do you think the single darkest headspace you had to go for a character is for anime?
The darkest headspace? It's kind of a it depends on what you, because Ukiura was always in a dark space.
Yeah.
In fact, I love the best ending I've ever done, the best death I've ever done.
Yeah.
He finds love through the last breath. But there was some dark stuff in there that was really, for lack of a better word, rapey. In its feel, and that was tough.
I suppose do you mostly play, with how long you've been playing Lancer, and you kind of view him as more like an anti-hero?
The Lancer to me is just a nice guy with some powers and a lot of chivalry and honor. So he's trying to think in terms, although to his detriment.
Yeah.
At some point, but with him, I love playing him because it's the persona I wish I was.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's cool. He's good looking. He's all of the stuff that I wish I was.
Yeah. And I think with Oh My Goddess, was that just the one movie?
Yeah, I just did the one
Keiichi?
movie. Yeah, I did come back for one episode of the series or two. He was only in like one or two episodes of the series.
Yeah.
But that was my return to anime.
Okay.
I had left voice acting for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then I was now I'm trying to get back in, and that was my return to it. So it was a good first project.
Are you? I know that she doesn't really do anime anymore, but are you close with Bridget Hoffman?
Not close, but we're friendly. We're friendly and friends, and we see each other from time to time. It's one of my favorite people to direct.
Yeah. What about Brienne Siddall?
Brienne I haven't seen in a long time.
She had that really bad accent.
Yeah, but I haven't seen her since then.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen her in at least 2-3 years before COVID. So probably 5 years since I've seen her.
Okay.
She hasn't been active in the shows that I've
Yeah. Well, I did hear from when I talked to Julie Madalena. Apparently, Mari Devon is retired.
Yeah, she
now.
retired.
Oh, you know that? Okay.
Yeah. Which is interesting because I thought she was doing fine, but this is just part of the rest.
Yeah.
But some people think, when you get to this age, you have to retire. Well, I'm that age. I have no intention of retiring.
Do you think?
I like what I do.
Do you think you have more affinity for directing, voice acting now? Or?
Well, I certainly have arguably more success at it. How do I put this? I enjoy it more.
Yeah.
I get to spend more time in the show. If I'm acting, I'm going to do a session a week for 4 or 5 weeks, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm done. Or just 1 or 2 sessions for the whole series. If I'm directing and I'm with the story for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long it takes to do the series, and that's to me more satisfying.
Yeah.
Plus, I only play so many characters.
Yeah.
And it's cool helping other people find their characters. So I do enjoy the directing. Right now, I'm enjoying it more. But give me a good role, and I'm going to want to act again. Yeah, I'll do Lupin until I die.
Yeah, that's right.
Unfortunately, there's nothing happening right now.
Well, when I talked in terms of shows that you've directed, I was talking to Howard about it yesterday. Nobody seems to really talk about Pretty Boy Detective as well, but I really liked that show.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I didn't. There was a couple of directors on it.
Okay.
I kind of started it and then moved on to a different show, and somebody else took it over.
Okay.
So that's kind of happened over the last couple of years, where I kind of get the show started and get all the characters established and then move on to another show. I'm not sure if I like that because I get invested in the show and now I miss it. Now I want to go do it, and now I'm going to do the next thing.
Yeah.
But all of it's been for better projects, which is why the company's done it for me, which is nice of them.
It's probably hard to pick, but do you have like a single favorite series you've directed?
It's a tie right now. Fake Zero, my favorite directed series. And a close second is Ghost in the Shell 2045. I directed the second season. And those shows are very cool. With or without me, they're really cool. And so I just like that.
Yeah. So is there anything else that's upcoming that you're part of? You can say
Well, I'm currently directing Beyblade, which I've had for the last 5 seasons, so that's continuing on. I just started season 2. I can talk about this at Inspector.
Oh yeah.
So I just started season 2 with that. I don't know if you directed it before, but I'm directing it this season. And then I'm doing an American cartoon, which I'll be able to talk about in about a month.
Okay.
But it's very cool. It's coming out on Netflix in November. It's going to be a big deal. So.
Okay. Well, my final question is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
It showed up. that I showed up, I did the work, I was a kind person, and I didn't cause trouble. That's what I'd like my legacy to be. I love that I have all of this. I mean, there's a certain level of immortality you get with this, which I guess why we all seek it. But now that I've got that, I'm more happy about dealing with people and fans on a personal level. I teach, so I have lots of students. About half the people here citing are students of mine.
Yep.
And so that's where I want to be somebody who gave, kindly gave, and pushed it forward.
Well, thank you so much for
My pleasure.
going through this.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.